Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are. Remember, you have greatness inside of you. Welcome back to another AB Daily News with the hockey coach guru, Coach Frenchy. Today, episode number 248. What you have in the menu, Coach, today? First of all, the trade bait, Sean Monahan. And then we have only one more subject. It's going to be the AB news for this episode. But before we start, we invite you, please don't forget to click on the like, subscribe to the Hockey Nation Live Show, and leave me a comment about this episode. And let's dive in, talk about my first subject of the day. My first subject of the day, guys, about the AB trade bait. Remember, the trade deadline is March 3rd. Canadiens is going to be really busy for the next couple of weeks for the Montreal Canadiens. Try to make some kind of trade to benefit the Montreal Canadiens to get better for the future. First of all, remember, guys, 2 days ago we did that enough. Yesterday I did Edmondson. Today I'm talking about Sean Monahan. First of all, we know Monahan has some kind of problem. If he's healthy, possible it could be traded before the end of the trade deadline. Secondly, what we heard the last couple of days, it's not his problem with the hip. It's not anymore his problem with the right foot. We know he broke his foot, but it's more like he has some kind of groin happening to him during the time he was tried to come back with the Montreal Canadiens a couple of weeks ago. So it'll be interesting what the Montreal Canadiens are going to announce the next couple of days. This situation with all the injuries. Same situation we talked about Edmondson yesterday. Monahan is going to be another player where the Montreal Canadiens could trade if he is healthy for the trade deadline March 3rd. And finally, for when he returned, Montreal Canadiens are going to try to use Sean Monahan to show to other team where easy went out with his health and what he can accomplish for the rest of the season with any other team. Now, the destination he can go, guys. We talk a lot about between Colorado, Carolina, and Boston. Each team are looking to add a center. On the trade deadline leaderboard are the players right now on the possibility to have a trade for them. We have at the beginning some really good center in front of Sean Monahan. We talk about Rand O'Reilly example. You can talk about Dylan Larkin, two excellent center in NHL. What could happen with Sean Monahan? I think the best team, the Montreal Canadiens, could make a trade. And I'm going to surprise you because many people put him with the Colorado Avalanche. For me, is the Boston Bruins. Why? Because I think Boston Bruins have many things they can afford and they can satisfy the Montreal Canadiens. The problem with Colorado Avalanche, the salary cap is a problem, and they have to figure out something else. And then they have the long-term injury reserve, Lentagog, is coming back, and that's what the biggest problem for them. For Carolina, they are not a team that really go deep during the trade deadline. So I don't see Carolina to attract Monahan. They like to bring rental players. Usually they resign him or they give him an extension. Whatsoever, let's finish with the Boston Bruins. They have first round pick for the next 3 years. They have second round pick in 2025, and they have third round picks for the next 3 years. They have money they can play with. They have a little bit over $1.3 to $1.5 million, but they can make some other things they can give to Montreal Canadiens to be sure Monahan fit well on the salary cap. And finally, they have some kind of prospect Montreal can get in return. Now, what could happen now with the Boston Bruins is finally this part. They have a first round pick they can give to Montreal Canadiens. Okay, they can make a trade for. And then they have other pick they can add inside of the trade to get a specific players. They have the goaltender DiPietro, 23 years old. A little bit on the same situation with Samuel Montembeault. We know DiPietro was with the Vancouver Canucks last season, and I think Montreal could include a player like him on the trade. Finally, I think Montreal could become a good match with the Boston Bruins if they want to get Sean Monahan. Montreal can get in return the first round pick 2023. They can get another pick if they want to add more, or they can get DiPietro with the package deal, and then to satisfy the salary cap for the Boston Bruins, they can trade and return Greg Smith. Smith have a $3.1 million. I think that would be the way where the Boston Bruins could have a better way to add Monahan over Greg Smith. And Smith for the Montreal Canadiens, it's not a problem. He fit well on the salary cap for the Canadiens, and plus he's UFA at the end of the year. So at the end of the day, Montreal just let him go at the end of the season, or they could flip him before the end of the trade deadline. This another way other team could looking for Greg Smith and get another pick. For me, this is the best situation for the Montreal Canadiens. This is a good for the Boston Bruins to add Monahan, because at the end of the day, Boston could lose Bergeron and Krejci at the end of the year, and I think they could sign as a UFA Monahan, exactly what they did with Langholm last year. Thirdly, I think the cost of Rand O'Reilly could be really too much for the Boston Bruins. So we'll be really curious what Montreal is going to do with Monahan if healthy, which destination he can go. But for me, Boston Bruins is a great match with the Montreal Canadiens. So please leave me comments. What do you think about Monahan go to Boston Bruins? Let's move on now, guys, for my next subject of the day. My next subject of the day, guys, is about the Montreal Canadiens news. First of all, guys, Montreal Canadiens are in better position right now without play. What are you talking about, coach? But you don't believe it. But Montreal Canadiens dropped from 26 to 27 in the ranking standing because the Vancouver Canucks got 1 point and now they are in front of the Montreal Canadiens, equal with 44 points. But here's the great situation. All the team below a Montreal Canadiens get points during the week. First of all, the San Jose Sharks guys are only now 1 point behind the Montreal Canadiens. I know they have 1 game in hand for the Montreal, but I think right now San Jose could pass Montreal Canadiens in the next couple of weeks. Secondly, Arizona guys with a W against the Minnesota this week are only 4 points behind the Montreal Canadiens with the same number of the game. And finally, Anaheim. Yes, Anaheim are only 4 points with the W yesterday. Anaheim have a really great stretch of the last 10 games, and they are only played 1 more game against the Montreal Canadiens. But it's this 3 team where the Montreal Canadiens at some point, if they continue to lose until the end of the season, could pass the Montreal Canadiens, San Jose, Arizona, and Anaheim. Finally, the key for the Montreal Canadiens is finishing 29 and below, because the top 4 are really super elite top players in the NHL draft 2023. I'm talking about Bedard, Fantilli, Carlson, and Michkov. I predict at the beginning of the season they're going to finish 29. Did not see Columbus to be on the bottom 4, but it is what's happening now. It's something we're going to follow up during the next couple of weeks, the situation with Montreal. Now, next news I have for you guys is Lane Hudson. Wow, 3 days in the row about Lane Hudson. Yes, it is. We know we talk about his amazing weekend he got last week, but I want to give you a little bit more what he did since the beginning of the year with the Boston University guys. And let's start in October. Rookie of the week. November, Defender of the month. November, Rookie of the week. November, Player of the week. December, Defender of the month. January, Rookie of the week. January, Rookie of the week. And February, Player of the month. Unbelievable, guys. Lane Hudson. If you cannot be more excited from him, I don't know what you need more, because Lane Hudson is getting better and better. And say a lot of team and people right now thinking about why did not draft him during the last NHL draft in Montreal in 2022. We know Montreal draft him only at 62 overall pick. A lot of team was concerned about his size, only 5'8" and 152 at that time of the draft. Now is a 5'10" and 161 pounds. So it's something we have to follow up. But if you think about Lane Hudson, you talk about Owen Beck, you talk about Sean Farrell. Farrell is going to sign with the Montreal Canadiens in the next couple of months. And then we talk about Logan Mailloux. 4 excellent players, I believe they could make the Montreal Canadiens in the next 3 years. Plus the NHL draft 2023, they're going to draft first in the top 5 in July. And we could add Joshua Roy, we could add Riley Kidney, and many others. Montreal Canadiens, the future is really bright, like I mentioned to you the last couple of days. This concludes, guys, all of my subject I have for you today. Here we go. Episode 248 is behind us. We talk about Monahan trade bait, and then we talk about news about the standing for the Montreal Canadiens, and finally the news about Lane Hudson. Please, before we leave, we invite you, don't forget to click on the like, subscribe to our Canadian show, and leave me a comments about Monahan, HUTSON, and the standing up for the Montreal Canadiens. And finally, we want to remind you, you have greatness inside of you, and we wish you an amazing, blessing, great day, everybody.